ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Stuff Podcast on YouTube. My name's Martyn Odell, a.k.a. the Lagom Chef, and this is my wonderful friend, George Egg, a.k.a. the Snack Hacker.
What you are about to watch is a sample from today's episode. However, if you want to enjoy the whole thing, go to Spotify or Apple or wherever it is you get your content.
Absolutely. So don't forget to like and subscribe. We are at the Stuff Podcast on YouTube. We are Stuffed. George, it's your turn this week for Star Ingredient and Dish.
And what direction are we going in? Because I hear not so distant jingle bells.
Holidays are coming. Holidays are coming.
It is getting there.
You doing Coca-Cola?
I'm doing Coca-Cola seed.
Coca?
No, it does. It comes from a big bean, doesn't it?
Does it?
Cocoa bean. That's why the Coca-Cola bottles are that shape, because they're the shape of a cocoa bean.
No way.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Brussels.
Are we not allowed to say the word? Can we just say Christmas?
Christmas, yeah. The C word.
Just
that's what we used to say in my
Jingle.
family when it was like, oh, whose parents are we going to? Yeah, it'd be like that. Should we talk about the C word? Oh, really, now? It's July.
I know.
Yeah, I know, but they've got to make plans, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, man, I used to work at a cookery school, and we used to do Christmas parties from September through to February. They were like, Christmas songs are starting, and you're like...
Well, I
Cool.
still have PTSD from when I used to do the stand-up circuit a lot and used to do Christmas gigs at places like Jongleurs, and it was just the most horrible time of year. It was quite lucrative purple patch for earning, but just, you know,
Sexy Santas and Grinch.
I was just pissed up people who were trying to impress their workmates, and awful.
My staff party is well weird. It's just me.
Well, same here.
Just-
Well, no, this year we can have staff party with you and me.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And the crew.
And the crew!
Oh, my goodness.
Woo-woo! Staff party! What's the budget? So guys, leave us a review. So this podcast absolutely flies, and then we're going to have the best Christmas party ever, and you're all invited.
Yeah, in a way.
That'd be weird, wouldn't it? We should do a Christmas special. Christmas party, Christmas special. Get everyone
just
down.
all like,
They're all not.
TFI Friday with all people all stood up around us.
Should we talk about this ingredient?
Brussels sprouts, that's what we're
good.
talking about, because they're one of those divisive vegetables that half the country says,
Yeah,
and
Dad.
the other half says they're great.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a bit like the whole Marmite thing, which I always get irked by when people say, you know, it's love it or hate it. And I'm sure if you polled most people, they'd go, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, it's not so black and white, is it?
No, not at all.
But Brussels sprouts, I love them. Do
Yeah.
you love them?
I actually do love them.
And I think they're incredibly versatile.
Well, I love them when they're done nicely.
Yes, of course.
I suppose we'll talk about that, but
any
I mean,
vegetable.
anything in
but
food.
but specifically, you know, cooking in this country, you don't have to go back that far before pretty much any vegetable is boiled to death and just, you know, like a paste, and especially something like a Brussels sprout that's, you know, from the brassica family. Is it a brassica family? I think it is.
That sounds really good. Yeah, let's stick with it.
I think it.
Yeah.
Can you check? Is it a brassica? I think it is, like cabbage and broccoli and all that.
I reckon it is.
I think it's
You should just believe in yourself, George.
Yeah, no, but I don't want to confidently say something that everyone's going, it's wrong. But they've got that sulphurousness that if they are overcooked, then you've got that kind of slightly guffy, you know, walking in the kitchen.
Well, that's the thing. Once they've been boiled, and they've been boiled too long, and they go that mushy pea green, then that's when they're like a bit grainy and they're horrific.
Yeah.
Oh, I just remember sort of like forcing them down me, going, I like them. But yeah, you have to cook them. Well, how would you cook yours, George?
Well, I would cook them in many ways. The only one I wouldn't do is the grossly overcooking. But I think people feel like they should be roasted or steamed, but actually they're one of those vegetables that's so good with a bit of colour on. So in a dry pan, crisped up, and then lightly steamed at the end just to cook them through a bit.
Yum.
Roasted in the oven is absolutely beautiful. Put a bit of oil on and then just whack them in a hot oven and really get that kind of crispiness on the outside of the leaves, and then they've got a bit of bite to them. Because I think they're incredibly nutty as a vegetable. They've got that real kind of sort of hazelnutty, Brazil nutty kind of thing to them, flavour-wise and texture as well, with a kind of crunch. I love them shredded.
Yes.
Shredded and fried.
I was going to say, my mate makes a shredded Caesar salad, Brussels sprouts, raw shredded.
Good.
Very good.
Yes, well, similarly in a kind of slaw.
Yeah.
Using the more trendy parlance.
Oh, well
than
done. Sorry, coleslaw. That's my dad's name, isn't it? Cole.
But is he?
Yeah, Colin.
Oh,
Cole.
Colin, there you go.
Yeah, big C.
Colin Slaw.
Colin Slaw.
Colin's Law.
Colin's Law.
Colin's Law.
Is there a
Could be
law?
TV series.
Yeah, but he'd be banning baked beans if he could because he hates baked beans.
I'm not massive about baked
No?
beans.
I made him
do
baked
like
bean
them.
ice cream once, and I fed it to him in the dark because I got an ice cream machine when I was younger, and I was making loads of different flavours.
What
and
did
then
you think
I
of it? Could
Well,
detect the
he
beans?
absolutely gagged and almost.
Oh, really?
I could draw the room. It was like Sunday afternoon, really rainy. He was watching some kind of Formula One or something. And he was in his chair. I was like, Dad, try this. And he was like, what is it? Ice cream. Like, stuffed it in his mouth. Baked beans.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you put a
Instant.
load of sugar in as well.
Oh, yeah.
to
It
make
was actually
like
really
ice cream
delicious,
flavour.
but a bit lumpy.
Have you seen? There's a thing I've seen online quite a lot. Some ice cream shop where they do like Branston pickle and
I can't remember her name. It's a French name, isn't it? It was quite a bougie place down in Notting Hill, and they did,
Right.
like Coleman's mustard and, weird. Anyway, we did the
Silly.
garlic the other week, but that's...
Yes, which
Yeah.
was nice. And I mean, it was interesting. It was,
My question I was going to say, when you shred them, deep fry them, comes a bit like the old
like the
Chinese
crispy
seaweed
seaweed thing.
Yeah. Oh.
a recipe I absolutely love that I think I saw it first in Nigel Slater's Fast Food, which is one of his first books, which was just a little paperback. And no, Real Fast Food, that's what it was called. And it's actually a brilliant book with just so many little ideas. No photos at all, just a paperback of dozens of little ideas for quick meals. And one of them is it's basically on the kind of Irish cabbage and bacon, but with sprouts. So you shred sprouts, finely chop smoky bacon, fry the smoky bacon, then add all the shredded sprouts and cook them in the bacon fat. That with a fried egg, honestly.
God, bacon fat is just... anything in fat. We're talking about some fat.
Well, that's where all the flavour is, isn't it?
Exactly.
But no, I think sprouts are a really good thing to talk about because they're one of those vegetables, especially at this time of year or coming up to Christmas time, when you've got supermarkets doing that kind of lost leader deal, where you walk in and the first thing you see is bags of sprouts for like 10p, and people get overexcited and go, well, they'll chuck 4 in their basket, and then a week later they're going, we've got all these sprouts to use. And that's the worst thing, is if they're buying stuff cheap, which is a lost leader, and the farmer's not getting any money, and then they end up in the bin. That's horrific. So finding fun things and interesting things and different things to do that aren't just boiled or sprouts that you'd have with a roast dinner is really worth talking about.
2 things. Aren't they the most amazing looking ingredient on their little stalk?
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. If you haven't seen, like, listeners, if you haven't seen a Brussels sprout stalk stem tree...
Oh, I see what you mean. I was just thinking how beautiful they look when they're just on their...
they look rubbish.
Well, they just look like miniature cabbages, don't they?
Yeah, but when they're on this thing, it's like some kind of like apocalyptic, weird
kind
of
it's
like...
absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
It looks like almost Christmas tree-like in a way, I suppose, like really tall, thin Christmas tree with the sprouts are all the decorations evenly going up in a spiral.
I went to talking about brassicas. I went to a brassica farm in Norfolk, and I saw a Brussels sprout like field, and it was hilarious.
Does it look alien?
It's mad. You like walk in there, and you're like, what?
Do the stalks grow upright?
Yeah,
like
upright, massive trees, and then they have this machine that just like goes whoomp and just
strips
them off. Yeah,
wow,
it's brilliant. The other thing I was going to say is crisscrossing in the bottom of the Brussels sprout an old school thing, or is it?
I think it's an old school thing. I've read mixed things. Some saying it does make them cook quicker, but then why would you want them to cook quicker? Because then they're going to get mushy too quickly, and then you neglect them for 30 seconds and they're spoiled. I've also read that it's a load of nonsense.
Yeah.
It's a load of nonsense. What a faff.
Yeah.
Here's another issue. I've remembered another issue.
Here we go. Love issues.
Sprout things.
Oh, Agony Aunt George. Here we go.
Well, I think that people generally waste so much of the sprout. Feel this thing that they've got to cut the end of the stalk off, then they've got to peel off any of the outer leaves. It's like, well,
what is the outer leaf?
The outer leaf is just more leaf. Yeah, and then they've got these tiny little pale sprouts because the nice greener leaves on the outside have all gone in the bin. And you see some people prepping sprouts, and the pile that they're going to cook is the same size and weight as the pile they're going to throw away. So what a load of absolute nonsense, ridiculous.
Absolutely.
I think half the time, if there's a really grubby bit or a really sort of
if he's got a caterpillar in it or something,
or like sort of black dots all over it, something like that. Use your common sense. But generally, if they're clean, just slice them up or just boil them straight away like that.
One of those things, and I was going to say that it's like crisscrossing the bottom, and then all those little paring knife out of leaves. Let's take them all off, and it's like no. Are you going to feed me today?
Yes, I've got.
Great.
So what I've got in here. What I've done is I was thinking along the lines of you've got a glut of sprouts, you've had roast dinners because it's that time of year, and you've got loads left, and you're kind of going, I don't want another roast. What about something a bit different? So I've made okonomiyaki. You know Okonomiyaki?
I do, yeah. It sounds like a budget airline, but I know what you're saying.
It does. It is basically the Japanese cabbage pancake.
Yes.
But I've used sprouts instead.
Wonderful.
So I've chopped up some sprouts. So I'll get it out here.
But isn't the
cold.
saying of like, that's all right? Isn't it the thing is like saying, Brussels sprouts are just tiny cabbages, like the more intense version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. So what I've got some fun stuff to dress these with.
There we go. My
Let's have a
first
look.
ever is it Okonomiyaki?
Okonomiyaki.
I had
think economy.
Is that what you pronounce it?
No, I think Okonomiyaki. So think economy, but then economy.
Okonomiyaki.
And then yaki.
Okonomiyaki. Very good. Rolls off the tongue. My first ever one, and this is like one of me being a classic idiot. I had it in Wagamama's in the airport because I think that's the only place they actually do it.
Yeah.
And I remember having it. I was going, oh, what's this thing? And they were like, oh, it's like a savoury pancake. Da, 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 da. And I ate it, and I was like, oh my god, I've got to tell all my friends. And I told them, they're like, yes, Martin. It's a Japanese staple.
You see, this is before you were friends with me, and if you said, I've got to tell my friends, and you told me, I'd just be all excited and want to hear all about it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to make it. I've done two, but this one looks a bit nicer. It's a bit more sprout heavy.
Hang on, have you been to Wagamama and taken their Tupperware?
No, but what I have done is I had a rummage through my son's Tupperware cupboard, because here's another non-waste thing, like something like that. If it's had like a salad in or whatever. Sorry, the listeners don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
I've got basically a cardboard takeaway tub that you get like a salad in or something with a clear plastic lid. But you have a salad in that, just give it a wipe out, put it in the cupboard, reuse it.
Yeah.
Put it straight in the recycling.
No.
Recycle it yourself and reuse it.
Well,
as many times
recycling is
as you
just
can.
a false economy, apparently. I spoke to someone the other day, and they work in recycling. They were like, it's pointless.
Really?
Yeah. Oh well, the world's going to end, so we might as well bloody enjoy ourselves.
So let's
George,
have some fun.
Speedley!
So what I've got, so first of all, I'll just talk through what this is. It's
Yep.
really simple. It is shredded sprouts, raw sprouts, and a bit of the white of spring onion, just mixed up together. A very simple batter of egg and dashi stock is what I've used there, which sounds very fancy, but it's basically water with a little bit of dashi stock powder, which is such a great ingredient to get hold of. It is the most, you get these tiny little paper like sachets, and they've got this incredibly sort of sweet MSG heavy powder that make you use so little to make a litre of stock. So you just put a tiny bit in the water with that, and it just gives it this super savoury, the kind of.
It's like what they have in a
mum
packet of
flavours.
noodles. Like when you have a packet of noodles, and then you have the little tear bags, and people are like, "What is this?"
You say, I don't know, but it is amazing.
It should be illegal.
So what I've got to dress it with. So you make the batter, and then you just basically fry a pancake over a low heat with a lid on initially, so that you steam the sprouts so they're not too crunchy and raw. You want a little bit of bite to them, but you want them to be slightly sort of softened.
It's being recorded, isn't it?
And now,
I feel like I want to record it.
well, you could do. So what I've got, because I am the prince of sachets, I bought some sachets along. Now, normally,
Prince.
you would have the king of sachets then.
That's better.
The crown prince.
Prince Albert.
The duke.
The Duke.
The baron.
Oh, blimey.
The baron of sachets.
You're really good with your royal things. I'm not.
Is a baron of royal?
I don't know. See, I told you. I'm confused already. Go on, what you got?
So anyway, ordinarily, this would have a kind of zigzag of two sauces. One would be a Japanese mayo, like a Kewpie mayo, and the other would be an Okonomiyaki sauce, which is incredibly similar to HP sauce.
No
It really
way.
is. Yeah, well, it's all full of spice and sugar and vinegar, and so I've actually got these are really precious. These are sachets of Kewpie mayonnaise.
Everyone thinks that Kewpie mayonnaise is so expensive, but I was in 2 different supermarkets the other day. One, I saw it for £4 for a bottle, which is quite good.
Yeah.
Another place, £9.50.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know how they can do it, but yeah.
Well, this is a very small amount. This is in a sachet that my daughter brought back from Japan, which is very cool.
That is.
However,
very cool.
if you haven't got Kewpie mayo, and I
love how that's 6 grams worth.
because it's a bit sweeter and it's a bit more kind of
MSG heavy.
MSG-ish. Do you know what? Salad cream is a pretty good sub for it on something like this. Now, this salad cream might be a bit old, so I'm going to check it.
No, don't worry about it.
Do you remember when we... Yes. Oh, no, that's wrong. Okay. Do you remember when we were on the beach
Yes.
and my sachets were a bit too old? All
But
right.
we were a bit like, let's just try it anyway. Go on.
It didn't taste bad.
No.
Anyway, never mind. We're going to use Kewpie. So we do a little zigzag of Kewpie all over like this.
Look at that, 6 grams is just enough.
There is. Do you know what? There's more in there than I was expecting. Okay, so the QP goes on, and
Very
then
good.
we'll do an
My
opposite.
My teacher at school, pass me that little bit, don't waste it. My teacher at school, he showed me once, he sat down with us, he was my old naughty school, I call him a naughty school person, but whenever you got detentions,
Yeah.
he was a teacher that looked after us. And he used to fold the sachet in half and then get a fork, and then you fold the fork over, and then when you slide it, it gets all the little remnants out the bottom of the...
That's a good zero weight. This is where you learned your
That's
low
it.
waist from, isn't it? You see,
And do you know what I got a detention for?
wasting.
I know, I reenacted the Titanic scene through some blinds. I stood behind the bubbly blinds and I went, catch me Rose, and I just fell. The whole row, and then someone dobbed me in and I got a whole week of detentions.
Oh,
but my mum
you're fun.
thinks I didn't do my homework. Sorry, Mum.
You're a naughty boy, but that's nice.
Yeah,
So
I'm
look,
not going to do the old Jeremy Clarkson. It was like, oh, I didn't get any GCSEs, so you could be just like me. I actually got 4 GCSEs.
in
I actually
Cooking?
got more. No, they didn't do cooking at school. I did art, graphics, and PE,
right,
I think.
nice.
Yeah, and theatre studies.
There you go.
Show business,
And
darling.
you're a performer,
Thanks, mate.
and then you started getting your boy up. Anyway,
Are we going there?
no, one day we'll talk about that on another episode.
Exactly. Someone did message me the other day when I did a story about my life, and they were like, you missed a whole period of your life. I said, yeah, because kids on this
Talk
channel.
about it one day.
That looks great.
So look, so wait, I haven't even finished
Oh,
yet.
what?
So
Come
what
on.
I've done, so what we've got there, we've got the spring onion green tops. I've snipped with scissors. We're still not there. So then I've also got a bit of pickled ginger. So I've got some pickled ginger like you get in a you know in
Sushi.
a packet of sushi. So if someone doesn't like that, just say, hold on, give it here.
Don't put it on.
I'll put it in my little sachet box and not leave it too long.
This is beautiful.
And then we're just going to finish it off with. I don't think it's going to need soy sauce. I've got some soy sauce there as well. And then these are little Korean seaweed snacks that are slightly oily and
a nori sheet.
a nori sheet, but they're much crispier, aren't they? And they've got
Possible.
they've got more sugar, and I think the nori sheets that you get for sushi are just
They're thinner.
yeah, these are much thinner, and they're definitely crispier, and they've definitely
they're
got
so good.
sugar and salt on.
MSG.
So we're going to put some little and MSG galore. So
Well, if
we're
you're
going
allergic to MSG, grow up. You'll be all right.
snip some of that.
Everyone
on
always
top.
goes, like, is MSG okay? And I was like, yeah, don't worry
it's
about it.
like-
It's
it's
the
like-
10 pints of beer you had at the Chinese
Well,
that gave you the headache,
the
mate.
MMR vaccine, isn't it? It's like one bit of cod science decades ago that some journalists run with, and then everyone
Yeah.
holds on to that.
And
So
probably
there we
everyone's
go.
had MSG in their life as well, because they've probably eaten a can of Pringles and been like, God, these are so
Yeah,
Moorish and
completely.
delicious. Yeah.
So look, so there it is. So that is the okonomiyaki. That is Brussels sprout okonomiyaki with Japanese mayonnaise, HP sauce, pickled ginger, and Korean seaweed snack. Shall we try this?
Yes, please.
Oh, sure.
I mean, you wouldn't know there's Brussels sprouts in it, but that is so delicious. Oh, that's so good. It's made my
But
mouth water.
It's such a good way to use up.
Yeah.
Because this time of year, people are going to have sprouts sitting around
Yeah.
that are going to either end up in the bin, or they could end up in that, or they could end up in a stir fry.
But it's such a good brunch thing. It's like such a good, like, well, breakfast brunchy kind of like. And also, what I was going to say is, like, you know, we were saying, oh, we try and mask the flavour of Brussels sprouts if people don't particularly like them. Yes, you can't taste them in that. Half the dishes I do are something that would really naturally go with a roast. Like, I'll do Brussels sprouts, loads of cream, garlic, all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But you're not going to have that the next day for brunch, are you? But that,
totally.
that's like something completely different.
And actually, yes, the toppings are quite overwhelming and give it that sort of super Japanese seasoning flavour. But I'm getting a undernote of the sprout, that kind of, you know, slightly cabbagey kind of, you know.
Yeah, it must
thing
be the
going
gene. Maybe you pick it up.
on. I got the gene. No, I haven't got the gene.
You love it.
The listeners don't know what we're talking about, because we were talking about the gene while we were taking the photos.
He hasn't
The
got any genes on, ladies and gentlemen.
And I have talked about this before on this podcast, but
Hang on.
what?
What about the spindler?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
There's even more flavour. So this is another thing which my daughter
Can I have a go?
My daughter brought back from Japan. So hold on, you have to take the top off. Let me just tell the listeners what it is, because they can't see it if they're listening.
That doesn't matter, does it?
It looks a little bit like a kind of Doctor Who villain, doesn't it? Something slightly Dalek-y about it.
It's like something that will examine your ears.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Like
Ooh.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Little boy.
Little boy.
Little boy is. It's full of sesame seeds.
They look toasted to me.
Sesame seeds.
Yeah.
Well, they're toasted, and they came in a pack, and they've got. You have a little taste of them by themselves. Hold on. They've got.
I don't know why I did 2 hands.
Yeah, you're not getting that many. They're scarce. But they've got kind of roasted garlic and stuff
Oh,
like that. I know
my
they're really
Lord.
they're epic. But Zoe, my daughter, said that these are on. So it's basically a little like a pepper grinder, but it grinds the sesame seeds. It's got a hole and then a turny. Listen to the turny thing. A little turny thing, and you turn it upside down.
It's like a wind-up radio.
And it grinds like black pepper, but it grinds toasted sesame seeds onto
There
your
is
food.
so much MSG in those sesame seeds.
I know. That's why it tastes so
I can
good.
feel my mouth. Oh, I'm having another one.
But anyway, yes.
the producers.
Zoe
Sorry,
said that
guys.
they are on the tables in every salt and pepper in every restaurant she went in, every cafe. And there you go. For the listeners, I'm just grinding toasted sesame seeds
Into my mouth.
directly into Martyn's head. Anyway, the gene. That's what I was going to say. Sorry, because you got distracted me. For the listeners who haven't heard it before, there is a gene called, and someone's written it down for me here. The gene is called TAS2R38, and some people have it, and those people apparently are super tasters, and they detect a much stronger and pleasant bitterness in sprouts than people who don't. So it may well be, if you've got someone who says, I really don't like sprouts, I find them very bitter, that they're not being a fussy
Get out,
boy.
mate. Get out. Grow up.
They're not being a fussy boy.
Oh, Steve, I've got the TAR71211 gene. Go on.
True.
Piss
I've
off.
seen a science experiment.
Oh, science, bliance.